Got quite the rally in Polkadot right now, and the story is the same across all the cryptos. We are having a great impulsive looking rally, and so far everything is looking the way it should. If we are about to have a major shift in sentiment, hopefully got some buying done, as I have been making community posts on the setups that we've had across various cryptos. If you're looking for those, you can find that on my channel in the community tab. It's a new feature in YouTube. I can put out charts much more quickly there than I can on a conventional YouTube video. But this is our 15-minute chart in Polkadot, and the pattern is almost identical in pretty much every crypto, every altcoin. We have our 5-wave rally, and well, there's a couple of ways to interpret this thing. We could call this the 5 waves down here. So if that is how we interpret it, it looks something like this. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have a 3-wave pullback for our second wave, and then off to the races. This would be a nested 1, 2, 1, 2. Which would be a fractal copy of the big picture pattern that we're going to touch on in just a second. The other alternate interpretation would be that this entire thing is 5 waves up, and therefore it would make our first wave up here. So that is what could be the case, and really what will help clarify for us what the actual pattern in operation is how we pull back. So if this is the actual top of the first wave, then expect a wave 2 to come back down somewhere into this box rather sharply and rather quickly. So that would be our wave 2. Otherwise, we are looking at a more shallow retrace, which would mean that this is actually the top of a smaller first wave, which I'm going to draw in blue here. And we would expect a smaller retrace into this box up here. That would be the 38.2% to 61.8% retrace of this wave 1 right here. So if that's the case, that would make this a nested 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. And I'm going to put one more clarification here. That is assuming that this is our bigger 1 wave, and that we drop like this, and that this here would be our bigger wave 2. So either way, things are looking pretty bullish. There's nothing to suggest that we have any downside at the moment. Now, I will make note that in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the setup doesn't look as clean, primarily because in Bitcoin, we've rallied so high without a proper nested 1, 2 that this could be the 3rd wave up. That's what this peach magenta pattern is. Sorry, pink magenta pattern, whatever that is. Otherwise, it could also be interpreted as an ABC, which I don't like. But if that's the case, we'd have to see this thing break down through this red line below to invalidate what we have. So right now, I see that as a very small possibility, maybe 10 to 50%. More likely, if we aren't following this more bullish blue pattern, we'll have a deeper drop back into this box, which will give you a good buy opportunity. And hopefully you did buy. If you did buy the dip down that box, good job. Give yourselves a pat on the back, because I didn't even catch that. I started buying a little higher up, and I'm looking to buy my second tranche, very likely within this pullback that's actually materializing as we speak. Ethereum has pulled back in the low 2,900 range, so it's getting close to its zone, its pullback zone as well. I'm going to keep an eye on things, because if it does break through the bottom of this box, that means we may go a bit deeper. Good thing is there's not too much downside potential. If we shift to the big picture, you can see that it becomes more clear what has happened over the past few weeks. Well, crazy enough, as I mentioned in our last video, we didn't really invalidate anything. We have our gigantic 1, 2, 1, 2 setup still intact. Why is that? It's because we did not pull back below this red line here, which would have been the origin, which is the origin of this wave 1, this subwave 1. And by the book, this is still a valid 1, 2. It's got the looks like 3, 4, 5 here. It could be a corrective wave. It could be a C wave impulse. It could be anything, but there's nothing suggesting that it's anything but a wave 2. And we actually got a lower low back on, I believe, yeah, February 24th, which is almost exactly a month after that big spike we had in January, on January 24th to the day. So right now, MACDs are showing a strong divergence in that we had prices drop and drop and drop, and our MACD, well, diverging the other way. So this divergence is a classic sign that we have a bottom in place, or at least we're working on one. I'm sufficiently convinced that the bottom is here and that this is the bottom. Now, if we do end up having a pullback further down, it's not really clear how far we go down, probably to this red line. At this point, it really makes no difference where we would go down. And we got some strong Fibonacci confluences all the way from $14 where the bottom was, all the way down to 836. So it looks bad, but whatever the downside would be, we'd see a very sharp reversal back the other way because, again, we're oversold, overdue. We've been in a correction for quite a while now. So if we do continue to rally, where are we going to end up? As usual, I would project us to get into the 0.32 to 0.61 extension of this subwave 1 and 2 combination. That would put us somewhere between $26 and about $40. And when we look at our short-term picture and we do a Fibonacci extension off of the one wave and the 2 wave here, or even a bigger one, it does target somewhere into that $25, $26 range. If this is the actual wave 1, maybe even higher. So mid-$20 range is very realistic for us to get into very quickly, very soon. This has a better setup right now than most of the other altcoins do. Once we get in there, I'm going to draw that up for you guys. So if we have our 1, 2 in place potentially, it would look probably something like this. Get your third wave, and you have a fifth wave, get in that box somewhere, and then it would very likely have a larger wave 2 pullback from that point, which would look something like this. It would probably be relatively quick and short-lived. This point here would be, well, this would actually be a larger 1, 2. That would be the next significant buying opportunity. So honestly, you could keep buying from here all the way up. You'd have another very good buying opportunity here if you haven't had the cash or just weren't paying attention. It is not too late. No reason to panic buy. You could be more patient, wait for a better setup in place. Honestly, it's probably safer to wait for this 1, 2 to set up anyway. And well, if we get that, we will be off to the races because our standard third wave targets would fall somewhere between $75 to $111. So long way up real quick. That would probably count as potentially our short-term target. The short-term target could actually count as high as 142, 211. That would be the bigger third wave. And when I say bigger, it would be the same degree as this first wave. So you have your 1, 2, and your bigger third wave would actually end up somewhere up here, again, between 142 and 211. So very exciting potential in Polkadot. And it does have one of the best setups despite its short history, because we do have a 1, 2, 1, 2 nest setup. And then we have a smaller 1, 2 in place down here. And if you're into using hypotheticals, well, we could count this entire thing as an even larger 1, 2, because there is confluence there. The proportions make a lot of sense. So this is a very, very robust setup, and probably one of the best setups there is out there. If you've used my risk reward scores, Polkadot has one of the highest max gain scores. So it has incredible potential overhead. I'm very high on it. So like I said, I'm looking to buy my second tranche. Let's see how this correction goes. Check out my community posts for regular updates. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And if you enjoy my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thanks for watching and happy trading.